Well, ladies and gentlemen, did we start a hurricane of comments in yesterday's video? Over 1,100 comments on a video that has about 33,000 views. That is a lot of comments pouring in. Since it's a weekend, I want to go ahead and go through these comments because we have not seen a barrage of comments, positive or negative like this, in a long time on this channel. And some of these are going to be a little funny to make you laugh, and then some of the other ones are actually serious, and I'll actually discuss them, okay? Let's get it started. Let's get it started with the controversy right off the bat. This guy says, be poor and not white, then come back and talk. This just in, if you happen to be born white and you accomplish something in your life, remember, it doesn't count. Now, we had a vast amount of comments around New York City real estate, okay? This person says, New York City is already overpriced. People would not survive the impact of Amazon. New York, a renter's market, it would have been bad. I 100% agree. Like, New York is vastly overpriced. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, I look at New York, and I look at a lot of Los Angeles. I feel like those markets are bubbles. I feel like it is so ridiculous how highly priced those markets are. Like, I completely agree with that. But by Amazon not coming there, I don't think it helps real estate that much. It certainly does to a certain extent, but also we got to remember, with all those jobs Amazon was bringing, 25,000, also would have made a lot more competition in the area for wages and for workers, which is a great thing for workers overall. You want as many companies competing for you as possible. When there's less companies competing for you, when there are less jobs available, you know, companies can just pay the minimum amount they need to. But when there's a lot of competition in an area and there are a lot of jobs, guess what? Companies have to outbid the other company. You put them in a bidding war. So that's something to take into account as well. This person brings up a pretty good point. They say smaller companies do not get the tax breaks the larger ones get. It is incredibly anti-capitalistic what these large corporations get away with. All businesses, no matter what size, need to be on a level playing field, or else it will make the market distorted. Jobs brought or not has zero to do with the importance of keeping a level playing field. I will say I do like the idea of having a level playing field and everybody playing, the small guy, the large business and whatnot, but we do have to understand the small guy that might hire one employee is not nearly as much of a benefit as say a company bringing in 25,000 salaried type jobs. So I definitely understand it. I have sympathy for the other side, but you got to understand we are talking about a company that was going to bring in 25,000 salary jobs, all right? This one says, wow, Jeremy, you're kind of gay. Try to stay a little unbiased. This just in, breaking news. Because I have an opinion, they say I'm gay. Yay! Next comment up here, AOC defeated the number 4 Democrat in the country. What have you accomplished? Oh man, this is always funny, right? This is always hilarious to me. People think it's a major accomplishment if you get elected, okay? And what I call it is whoever's best at the Willy Wonka game, all right? Whoever's the best at selling the idea that they can fix all the people's problems out there, whether they be real problems or imaginary problems, that person is the one that gets elected. It's the Willy Wonka effect. And if you think that's a major accomplishment to get elected to office because you can sell the biggest Willy Wonka bar, I think we just have a difference of opinion on what's an accomplishment and what isn't, all right? Next comment up here, we allowed Amazon to earn $1.3 trillion just for the company and spend zero in taxes. I mean, that really helps our economy. Shake my head. First off, $1.3 trillion. Do you know how much net income that would be? That's like an insane amount. Amazon, if we went back at Amazon's full track record, I would have to look at this, but I can almost guarantee you if you added up all the net income positive they made over the years and net income negative they made over the years, I doubt it would be more than like $20 billion. We'd have to go back and look at that number, but I can guarantee you it's not 1.3 trillion. That's a little insane, okay? This comment's a little long. It says, Jeremy, I like your channel. However, this is second video where you're coming after AOC. It doesn't seem like you're being fair to both parties. And basically, this individual wants me to, I guess, bash someone on the Republican side. But here's the thing. I almost never bash anybody on either side, okay? Democrat or Republican. There's a special individual here who I strongly disagree with in this situation, plus other things they've said recently about like people basically making money and don't even have to work, even if they're unwilling to work, they still get money. So I never really give my opinion on Republican, Democrat, this and that, but there's one individual out here who I just sorely disagree with on this issue and in that past issue we talked about in the past, all right? Next comment up here says, New York City is already the most populated city in the US where cost of living is already astronomically high. Another city would benefit from the headquarters more than NYC. Yes, the wages would go up, but also the cost of living would result in the average salary being really high, but meaning a $100,000 job wouldn't mean as much like Silicon Valley. And yes, in markets like New York City, if you look at Manhattan or if you look at Silicon Valley in the San Francisco area and whatnot, you need to make, at least 6 figures plus to be doing decent. When in other parts of the USA, right, $100,000 could mean all the money in the world, right? You could live in a super nice house and probably drive a nice car and still have money left over. Whereas in Silicon Valley or New York City or something like that, obviously you need to make a ton of money to be able to afford a nice place. And so that's where it comes into states competing with other states and people not being so loyal to their state. People are so loyal to their state and city. I'll never understand this, why people are so loyal to their state. Like, I think everybody should compete, okay? I think state by state, they should compete for you to live there. They should be, look at all we offer here. Look at the schools, look at the parks, look at the tax system. A big issue in the economy I see overall is people get so attached to the city they live in and the state they live in that no matter what happens, they're gonna live there. They're too loyal. Same thing happens with companies. People are like, oh, my company, they don't pay me enough, but then they never even go apply at other places. People are way too loyal to their company they work for, and they're way too loyal to their city or their state they live in, and they refuse to make change and move somewhere else or get a job somewhere else because they're loyal to that place for whatever reason. Like, I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Then I had a great opportunity to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I took that opportunity and ran with it. Then I looked around and I said, what state would I like to live in that's really competitive on a business front and on a tax front? And it was Nevada. So now I live in Nevada. That's how you really prosper. Make the cities, make the states compete for you, make the companies compete for you, and that's how you level up in this game, okay? Next comment up here, it says, I'm not gonna lie, but I think this was great news. Now Amazon can be used in a better area for jobs like the Midwest. New York is already popular and big. The Midwest could use some change. I agree. I think New York made a bad decision in this case, but at the same time, like, there are a lot of other markets that are gonna benefit huge from Amazon coming in there and filling all those jobs and adding employees over time, those people spending money in the local areas. I think it's a good thing, and I think it will definitely help out. You'll see an economic boom wherever Amazon goes with those jobs in that local area, all right? Next comment up here says, Democrat thinking, if every city in America now says no to Amazon, that will generate $3 billion in cities. We can now pay for the people who choose not to work. First off, I do not believe all the Democrats think the way AOC thinks, okay? I think she's way out there, but I think a lot of Democrats are afraid to come after her. Same way a lot of Republicans who, if you really talk to them deep, don't agree with Trump or a lot of Trump's antics, or they won't speak up against Trump because they know it could hurt their chances to be reelected. There are a lot of Democrats in the party right now who I can guarantee you, if you really got to understand the truth about them, do not like AOC, do not like what she represents to the party, do not like the route she's going down, but they can't speak up about it really because they're in a situation where they could turn off a lot of voters. This is why politics is a game of chess in the end, okay? And this is why you don't get people criticizing people from their own party very much, because they're very scared to do so, because it could cost them enough votes in the next election for them to not even be elected. Next comment up here, now we know why they got a divorce, because Bezos is always pulling out. Oh, that's a funny one there. Next comment up here says, politicians are some of the most ignorant, selfish people in our society. This is why America is unfortunately on the decline. So sad. Now, if you know me, you know I hate politics, and I generally don't like most politicians. However, I won't say all politicians are bad or have bad in their heart. Same thing, I wouldn't say all business people have bad in their heart. You do have to understand a lot of these individuals want to get reelected again and again and again. It's the power struggle, and they believe what they are doing is right, whether it's their policies, their way of talking, their way of trying to change mindsets. They think that what they're doing is right. So I don't think all of them are bad. I think just there are definitely a portion of them who are bad overall, okay? Next comment up here says, please, Amazon, come to Portugal. We will accept you. I asked if some of the international viewers that saw that video, if you would love Amazon to come to wherever you live. A lot of people had comments like that, all right? Next comment up here says, man, people write more paragraphs in the comments than I do in school. Yes, the comments were ridiculous in that video. Like, you guys got to go back and just read through the comments. It might take you a full day to do it, but it's insane, okay? Next comment up here says, laugh out loud. Did you read that she majored in economics, graduated second best in her class? Owning a business has nothing to do with knowing the economy. She knows more about the economy than you ever will. I always think this is really funny when somebody tries to look at somebody's educational background, and based upon what a certificate says, they decide if that person is really smart and they know a lot or not. And for me, I don't judge how smart I think someone is or how I'm knowledgeable based upon what a degree says or a grade point average. I decide that based upon what their actual opinion is, how they formulate that opinion, and how they explain it overall. Not because they have a certificate on their wall that says, I graduated second best in my class. I graduated second best in the watercolor class last night. Doesn't mean I'm the next Van Gogh. Next comment up here says, AOC wants her socialist utopia. It's better that people are on welfare than on $15 per hour, so they keep voting for her. AOC is retarded. Seriously, this commie fantasy about utopia. First off, AOC is not retarded. AOC knows exactly what she's doing in this situation. If you can demonize people enough, you can get them to believe with you. If you can promise them enough things, if you can be Willy Wonka, they're gonna side with you. You're gonna get enough people to side with you and vote for you. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's definitely not retarded. She knows exactly what she's doing, okay? Next comment up here says, laugh out loud, Best Buy guy tries to educate a bartender in economics. Hilarious. This is why I keep coming here. First off, I find that very offensive because I was not a Best Buy worker. I was a Quick Trip manager, okay? Gas station manager, remember that. No, but really that comment made me laugh. Next comment up here I think is really interesting. They say, by the way, we have socialism in Europe and we are doing better than the US as a society. First off, Europe does not have true socialism. There is no European market that has true socialism in it, all right? People like to look at somewhere like Denmark and be like, they're socialist. Well, they're leaning more towards socialism, but they're not full socialism. And this perception on your part that thinking Europe is doing better than the US, maybe in some categories, some European parts are doing better than the US, but a lot of European parts are not doing very good for the most part. Next comment up here says, I swear the Democrats are trying to race to the bottom. I just don't understand them anymore. Once again, you got someone like AOC who's pushing things so far left, but we've seen this even on the Republican side before, you know, things like the Tea Party movement and people that push super far to the right. So both parties have this from time to time where they'll push one way super far or the other. You'll have some Republicans saying, we want no taxes, no government at all, right? That are just, you know, so far on that side. And you got other folks that sometimes are come on the left and they say, we want full socialism. So I don't think it's a full Democratic Party going that way. It's just sometimes you get certain parts of a party that go that way, all right? Next comment up here says, please come to Atlanta, Georgia. Join the other Fortune 500 companies here that enjoy the tax breaks. A lot of people, you know, we're kind of saying for their city, you know, for Amazon to come there. Next comment up here says, I swear all politicians should be required to understand basic economics before ever becoming a politician. And the reason they don't really have to is because the vast majority of people out there don't understand the basics of economics or the basics of business or why things are the way they are. They've never really thought about this stuff into depth at all. They've never really spent a good chunk of their life doing it. So therefore, politicians don't really have to understand economics fully. They can just get some great talking points on why, you know, someone's greedy over there, why this person's bad, or why this company's bad. And if they just kind of get out those points, enough people will say, because they don't really even understand things in the end, they just say, yeah, they're right, let's vote for them. And that happens, and it happens on both parties all the time. Well, you're here, just complete FUD come out of them, and people will go with it because a lot of individuals are just not educated on the way business works, why economics works, why capitalism works. They haven't thought this stuff through. And if a politician just says a few talking points that gets them real excited and flowing, that juice is flowing, yeah, they're bad over there, that's all they need in the end, okay? Next comment up here says, if someone offered to hire 25,000 Croatians, I think they would become king of our country. Next comment up here says, hi Jeremy, I like most of your upload, but I simply disagree with you on this. As a New Yorker, I would welcome Amazon without the massive tax credit. And yeah, every city and every state around the United States of America, and heck, probably even every country out there for the most part, would love Amazon to come hire 25,000 corporate employees in their city or their state. However, you got to understand, Amazon wants something for this back. It's all negotiations in the end. So, you know, of course, we would all love certain things, but you just can't. I would love a Lamborghini for $10, but it's not going to work out, right? I would love a mansion on the hill for $100,000, but it's not going to happen, right? Well, maybe there are some parts of the world you get that, but certainly not in the USA, right? So just, you can't get everything you ask for, all right? Next comment up here says, but Jeff Bezos has more money than me, and that's just not fair. I really hope that comment was trolling. And sometimes I can't tell if people are trolling. If they're trolling, that's hilarious, all right? Next comment up here says, why are you screaming? You do have a mic, holy crap. They must be new here, man. I love to scream, but maybe If people found out this was my real talking voice, they wouldn't watch the videos. Next comment up here says, careful of your criticisms of the darling. You're going to get flagged as alt-right. Oh my goodness, I was literally actually worried about that. Next comment up here says, great video, Jeremy. I like when you get fired up about something. It doesn't happen that often that I get really fired up about something, but it is fun when I do, all right? Next comment up here says, I love your videos, man, but this is the first time I realized what it means to be an investor. Money, money, money. Nothing makes sense other than money. I guess that's what it takes to get rich. Next comment up here says, wow, the rich doesn't pay their fair share. Everyone knows trickle economics is a lie. Stop feeding us this lie. The rich are criminals. You know it. They illegally hide their money in taxes. You know, sometimes these comments, I just can't deal with them, man. Sometimes it's just too much. Next comment up here says, good points, but jacked up housing prices is a serious concern unless you already own a property or buy a house before the inevitable pricing pop. You're screwed, which means really high rents and no future chance of owning property in New York. And once again, go live somewhere else. Like, I literally can't get it through my head why people are so loyal to a city or state that they're not willing to move somewhere else. People realize how large the United States of America is. Do people realize, like, there are reasons you can move somewhere else, or you might actually love moving somewhere else? The amount of people that have never even made it out of their own city or state is actually mind-blowing to me. You might be a lot happier living somewhere else than where you currently live, but people are so loyal to this, you know, wherever they were brought up and wherever they grew up as a child or something like that. And I'm like, don't be so loyal to this. Make these states and make these cities compete for you as a person. Make these companies compete for you for top dollar. That's what you want in the end, because that's what brings out a better life overall, all right? Next comment up here says, currently dislikes at 185. That's at least 185 salty socialists who will never strike it rich like our boy Jeremy. First off, everybody that disliked that video, not everybody was probably a socialist. Some people were probably just mad that I was getting into politics in general, okay? So to be fair about that. Next one is up here, cracks me up. It says, Ben Shapiro, watch out. This is the new guys in town. First off, Ben Shapiro, that guy, I don't think has ever lost a debate in his life. Like, I go through YouTube videos just trying to find if Ben Shapiro's ever lost a debate. I'm like, oh, maybe this is the one. Somebody can trick him. Somebody can really get Ben Shapiro. That guy's like, if you don't know who he is, like, I hate debating with people in general, but I would never debate with Ben Shapiro about anything. That guy's like on a whole other level as far as debating goes. It's ridiculous. Next comment up here says, you are the worst type of investor. The type who chooses more profit over the well-being of working class citizens. The issue with Amazon building headquarters too is that it was planning on building in a working class neighborhood where gentrification is already displacing people who can't afford the growing cost of rent and homes. Once again, who cares about living specifically like in New York? Like, I literally don't get it. I literally cannot process this through my mind on why some people have, like, the United States of America is so big. You can live so many places, so many beautiful places out there that are probably a lot better climates for you. And people don't realize, like, there's huge economic advantages to living in certain parts of the USA versus other parts. They're so mentally tied down to this physical location that they just can't deal with it if they had to move out. Like, I'll just never fully understand why some people do that. Some people literally live in a place, they're born there, they're raised there, they have their kids there, they retire there, and they die there. Like, I don't understand why some people want to live in one place their entire life. Like, the United States is an amazing place with so many different amazing places to live. Like, why would you want to spend your whole life? It'll never make sense to me. What about the thousands of people who would get displaced? Once again, this is another one of those comments. New York real estate is insane. Like, if you don't like the price of New York real estate, I'm telling you, move somewhere else. I'm telling you, there's a lot better places for you to raise your family or have kids or have grandkids, or if you just are a single person and want to be single. Like, trust me, there's a million places better out there in the United States of America. You can stay in your own country and live and make a lot more money probably, and certainly have a lot more money, and probably live in a lot nicer place and have a lot more fun than where you have to be there. If you're not worth millions and millions of dollars, like, I wouldn't live in New York. That's the bottom line. And by the way, I wouldn't live in New York no matter what. Even if it was like an affordable place, I wouldn't want to live there. It's too dang cold, okay? So just, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Next one up here says biggest city versus biggest company equals biggest city won. Once again, it's a situation where the biggest city, in my opinion, loses in this situation, and Amazon in the end, they're going to end up going and building that somewhere else. They don't lose from this whole situation. Next comment up here says, you have a great understanding of the stock market. I completely disagree with you about macroeconomics. Housing skyrockets in your scenarios, and this forces local families to the margins. And this is another comment about real estate prices in general, and I mean, you know, it's just the same thing. I'll just, you know, go back, rewind the video, you can watch that again, okay? Next comment up here, oh, it's like another same comment I'm just realizing. Next comment up here says, got it wrong here, my friend. Rents in NYC are through the roof, especially in Long Island City. You better believe rents will go up and poor people will get priced out of the area. Another one on the real estate, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, okay? Next comment up here says, whatever your view is on AOC or socialism or whatever, corporations should not expect to get away with flaunting the law by not paying their taxes with some kind of consequence. Let's just scroll down here a bit on this comment. It says, don't fool yourself, America. Don't confuse reality with fair or optimal. Amazon doesn't create jobs, it destroys livelihoods. The number of small businesses that have been killed by Amazon must be absolutely astronomical number. It's companies like this that are squeezing the middle class all over the world and pushing efficiency at the cost of culture. First off here, Amazon literally has millions of sellers on their platforms, okay? And millions upon millions of people make money, if not make their full-time income from Amazon. And I'm not just talking about direct Amazon employees. I'm talking about the massive amount of sellers that make money off Amazon. Like I know a lot of people in real life who make, you know, a living on it, you know, 50K a year, 100K a year, 200K a year being an Amazon seller. People like myself have made money from Amazon affiliate links. My first book I ever wrote was through Amazon, and that was an amazing experience because I can tell you, if I would have went to a publishing company and tried to, you know, become a published author or something like that, it would never happen in a million years. But Amazon allowed me to just write a book, upload it, and start selling it to people, and that was an amazing thing, okay? So this whole notion that Amazon doesn't create any jobs and they just destroy everything, I'm looking around and I'm like, I've made a lot of money off Amazon. I know a lot of people that have made a lot of money off Amazon. I know plenty of people that have worked for Amazon and made livelihoods working at Amazon. Are some jobs lost from a company that comes in and beats other companies? Absolutely, but you want that in the end. You want competition in the end, all right? Competition is what breeds out the best in the end, and that's what we should want as a society, competition. I mean, think about it like this. Imagine if there was only one food store in your entire city. Imagine what the price of a gallon of milk would be. It'd probably be $10 or $20 because there would be no competition, so they would just be able to charge whatever price they wanted in the end. Competition breeds the best. So you want Amazon competing against Walmart, competing against Target, competing against all these other guys, the e-commerce players. You want that type of competition. It brings out the best in the end, and you get the best result at the end of the pie, okay? Next comment up here says, legend says that as soon as Jeremy criticized AOC, he got demonetized. I was seriously worried about that when I was uploading the video. And it was funny, for the first few minutes, it didn't go out to the subscribers, and I was like, what is going on? I'm like, did I make the video public? And usually, as soon as I push a video out, like it's a ton of views right off the bat, and like thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, people commenting. And this was like 3 or 4 minutes in it, and it still hadn't been pushed to subscribers. I was like, did I do something wrong here? Next comment up here says, Jeremy, I don't think you understand how insane the wealth inequality is in this country. AOC is definitely not educated on business, but the way you characterize people struck by poverty, forced to stay there, and no fault of their own is ill-informed. Just because you or I can make it out of poverty, grow a business, or improve our economy doesn't mean the odds are in favor of the people that they can do things like that. I would like to see a video from you on income inequality. Maybe others will find it interesting for you to inform us. Best wishes. I think this is a perfect place to end this video. This is a perfect comment to end this video. Income inequality. What does it mean if Jeff Bezos has $60 billion and I'm over here? Because his net worth technically is $60 billion, does that make me less rich? Absolutely not in the end. Income inequality, one of the ways you can get out of that is you make people compete for you, okay? Too many people are stagnant at their jobs. They're not focused on getting another job. They don't care about getting another job. So they sit at a workplace and they make the minimum amount of money that they really can. And that's fine. It's America. You can do what you want. If you want to make, you know, $8 an hour for the rest of your life, or you want to make, let's say, $14 an hour being an assistant at whatever corporation for the rest of your life, it's the United States of America. You are at liberty to do that. But just realize you're hurting your own economic situation as well as a lot of other people, because what you need corporations, the big guys, okay, and small guys, everybody alike. You need them competing for workers. When you have as many jobs out there as possible, you make companies compete for you. Imagine if there was only one employer in the whole city you lived in or something like that, right? They'd be able to pay the minimum amount they would be, you know, legally have to be required to pay, because why would they pay any more than that? Well, just because of the goodness of their heart or something like that? They wouldn't do that. By having more competition, you end up increasing wages overall. You make people compete for you. And the same needs to be said for states and cities. Make them compete for you. Don't be so loyal to a corporation. Don't be so loyal to a city. Don't be so loyal to a state. Quit this oh, I grew up here. I got to live here. Oh, this company, I've been working here for 14 years. I can't leave this company. I know my coworkers or something like that. You're holding yourself back. You got to make all these guys and gals out there compete for you in the end. When there's a competitive marketplace, all tides end up rising, okay? And all ships end up getting lifted. Are there always going to be a certain segment of the population that is poor in the United States of America? Absolutely. Is there always going to be a certain, well, hopefully always be a certain amount of the population that is super rich? Absolutely. But what you got to understand is even if you're, let's say you're in the bottom 20% or the bottom 25% in the United States of America, one, your lifestyle, even down there, is still dramatically better than most parts in the world. Also, your chances to get into the middle class or maybe even become rich someday are dramatically higher than pretty much anywhere else in the world. The amount of people I know in real life who have either gone from middle class to rich or have gone from poor to middle class or poor to middle class to rich is a pretty high percentage. You can climb the ladder. I will tell you what doesn't climb the ladder. When you make no one compete for you, when you make the corporations not compete for you, when you make the corporations not have to pay a higher wage because there's no one to compete with, when you are at the beck and call of whatever your city and state is and whatever they're doing, you just go with it and you never are voluntarily move out of that place. When you do things like that, you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to produce more income inequality than what you would if you were actually out there and you were looking for your best next option out there. It amazes me that a lot of people are more loyal to a company they work for, a city they live in, or a state they live in than to the actual people around them in real life. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.